This conference will now be recorded.
All right, so in the last session, we talked about master data. And when we talked about master data, we came to this topic after completion of baseline configuration. We did baseline configuration and then we performed the consistency check of our baseline configuration. Once we made sure that our baseline configuration consistency check passed, the next one is to create the master data. This master data in your project is part of cutover activity. There is a term called cutover activity. Master data is one of your cutover activities in any implementation project or in any rollout project. When somebody is asking you a question, were you part of any cutover activities or do you know what are the cutover activities? From SAP FICO point of view, master data is one of your cutover activities. Inside the master data, from FICO point of view, you have certain list of master records, out of which we have recorded certain important points at the beginning. So they are GL account, bank account, customer account, vendor account, asset account. Similarly, from the controlling point of view, cost element, profit center, cost center, internal order, we classified as initial master data from the FICO point of view to begin with. Later on, the additional master records we will add to the existing list. First, we have to create general ledger master record. First, we need to create GL master record. Point number one that you need to remember when you talk about GL master record, we have to think about our initial baseline configuration. Based on our baseline configuration, we created one chart of account which is used by all our company codes. That is your operating chart of account. As per your operating chart of account, you are assuming that the same operating chart of account is used by all of your company codes across the different countries. Wherever you're operating as BMW, for all the BMW legal entities or for all your BMW company codes, same operating chart of account we will be using. Now, when we say that same chart of account is used by multiple company codes of BMW, while creating the chart of account, you are going to list out the GL accounts that are applicable for all the legal entities of BMW. In short, to record all the business transactions related to BMW, whatever the GL accounts that are required, all these GL accounts will be created as part of your cutover activity or as part of your master data migration. Now, who will give you
So is
this
this
GL account list?
recording?
Sorry, I've not started recording. It's getting recorded.
Oh,
So yeah, your GL account list will be provided to you by your client. Now, how will your client know what parameters or what information to be provided to you as a master data according to SAP? Now, here there are some points that we have to remember that we have to keep in our mind. Assuming your client is currently working on Tally, Oracle, JD Edwards, or any other accounting application. Now, your client is migrating into SAP from existing system, which is called as legacy system. From legacy system, when your client is getting into SAP, your client may not be using the same GL accounts that they were using in legacy system. They may be using the different additional GL accounts in SAP because of the flexibility that you have in SAP. You can have multiple GL accounts and according to your reporting requirement and all. So what your client is going to do, your client will download their existing master data of a GL account from the current legacy system. Assuming your client is currently using, let's say, I'll put BMW is currently using Oracle. Assuming BMW is currently using Oracle, from this Oracle, BMW will extract the chart of account list. Chart of account is the common terminology in every organization, in every accounting application, because chart of account is nothing but list of GL accounts. They will extract the list of GL accounts from the existing system. In our example, we are assuming Oracle. Let's say from the Oracle, when they take the GL account, in Oracle, there are, let's say, around 900 GL accounts. Assuming that in Oracle, there are 900 GL accounts. Now, these 900 GL accounts may not be uploaded as it is into SAP. These 900 GL accounts may not be created as it is in SAP. Your client may decide, okay, when we go to SAP, we wanted to have reporting in a different manner. We wanted to have different in a different manner or according to different dimensions, for which we need to create additional GL accounts to segregate the transactions. Based on different reporting requirements, they have come up with. So in SAP, BMW requires, let's say, 1,300 GL accounts. In SAP, BMW requires 1,300 GL accounts. Now it is straightforward. Your legacy system GL accounts are not equivalent to SAP system GL account. Now your 900 existing GL accounts are now becoming 1,300 new GL accounts. So your client will have to map it. What are the current GL accounts? How you are going to map this to new SAP GL account? So for this exercise to be performed by your client requires something called master data template. Your client will tell you on what format, on what basis should I provide you the data. If you do not tell anything, your client is straight away going to share the raw dump of Oracle system chart of account, based on which you're not the one who is going to decide what will be the number range, what will be the account description, whether it is P&L account, account group, all these criteria parameters, you will not be deciding it because this is the business call, this is the business decision. For your client, for your user to provide this information, they have to be trained, they have to be explained on all these points by a FICO consultant, which means we have to explain the client how the data has to be prepared. When you're explaining this data to your client, you need to make sure first we are clear with the GL master creation in SAP. First, we are clear with how a GL master is created in SAP. Once we have the clear understanding of how a GL is created in SAP, based on that, you are going to list out the points. To create a GL account, these are the mandatory inputs. Accordingly, you are going to sit with your client, make them understand this is how the data has to be provided and how they are going to map the existing data with SAP data. You will take one or two samples and you will make them understand. Based on your explanation, based on their understanding, they are going to provide you the upload file or the master data file, which we will share with them. And they will give us the file which contains 1,300 GL accounts. But for them to start, it is your responsibility to make them understand what is chart of account according to SAP, how this is defined as per their requirement, and what information you want from them in what format. If you do not give them the proper input, whatever the data that they provide to you may be incorrect. And then you may have to sit and rework on it according to SAP. Right? So all these points will be very sensitive. If you do not handle these points sensitively, then these things will go for escalation, stating that we have already provided the data. If this is not to be provided in this way, if you wanted data in some other format, why this was not told to us at the beginning itself? So you are changing the data format, everything every now and then. I cannot engage my user or I cannot engage my staff to work on this on a repeated basis. So they will put emails in such a way that, no, you please provide me the final template, which is no longer to be changed. So frequent changes on this are not supposed to happen. For you to make sure that these changes are not happening, you have to be very clear. You have to be very confident on how data is to be migrated, what information you require, in which format you require. Only then it is possible. Otherwise, we will end up creating the data in the wrong way, which will lead to unnecessary corrections later on. All these points will have to be avoided, minimized to the maximum extent you can. Okay, now let me go to SAP. Is my voice still breaking or it's fine?
No, sir, it is clear.
Fine, sir.
It's clear, Ajay.
Fine, right? Okay. Yeah.
Now
Now to
it's clear,
create the
sir.
GL account, yeah. To create the GL account, I'll go to FS00. In FS00, let me select or let me change this to our company code 9PBI. Now, whenever you're trying to change your company code, this is the first error message or this is the first message that you will see on your screen. Whenever you get this message represents in this company code, whatever you are selecting, in this company code, whatever you are selecting, currently there are no GL accounts created. That is the reason it is not allowing you to change the company code. If there are GL accounts which are already created, it will switch the company code. If there are no GL accounts, it will not switch the company code. Okay, so I'll click on create icon here. Let me click on create icon. I will put some account number. Now, before I create the account number, I have to be aware of what is my GL account groups. As per your chart of account, we have defined different account groups. If I go back to the Excel sheet, if I go to the GL account group, let me scroll down. These are the account groups that we have created earlier. Let's say I'll take the first account group like fixed asset. Okay, so these are the account groups. I'm selecting the first account group, which is this. So I'll be selecting the first GL account from it, and the account group for this is 1110. Now I'll take that GL account. In SAP, I'll put this GL account number, which is to be created, and I'll put my company code, which is 9PBI. Now, whenever you're creating any account which is going to generate a number, your GL account is identified by a number. Your GL account number can be internal or it can be external. Always remember, you will be creating GL account number always with external number range. Whenever you talk about number, your number is of two types. One is your internal number, the second one is external number. When you talk about internal number, you will not be giving any number here. System will allot a number at the time of saving. That is your internal number range. When you talk about external number range, while creating itself, you will provide which number you are going to create. Always remember, for your GL account, it is always external number range. We don't use internal number range. So since we will be using external number range for GL account, you have to input GL account at the beginning of the screen. I'll put this, I'll give the company code, I'll click on create. Okay, so when I click on create, here you will find the GL account number, company code in which this is being created. Below this, you have several tabs. First tab is type description. Second one is control data. Third one is create bank interest. And after that, keyword, these are not relevant. Ignore the last three. Focus only on the first three. Type description, control data, create bank interest. We assumed in the previous sessions, every GL account contains two segments. One is chart of account segment. Second one is company code segment. The first tab, which is talking about type description, this type description is related to chart of account segment. That is why you will be able to see control in chart of account. That is why here it is displaying control in chart of account, which means type description is related to chart of account segment. In the chart of account segment, whatever the information that you provide is commonly applicable for all your company codes. Chart of account segment cannot be different for multiple company codes. Whatever the data that is updated in chart of account is common for all your company codes. whatever is assigned to the respective chart of account. So here you have two classifications. One is GL account type. The second one is account group. GL account type is SAP standard. You have no control on it. One of the relevant you have to map one of the relevant GL account type for every GL account which you are going to create. GL account type is SAP standard. You have no control on it. You need to map or you need to assign existing SAP group, existing type to the GL account. Second one is your account group. This account group is something which we have created as part of chart of account configuration, a setting called define GL account groups in OBD4. Whatever the account group we created in OBD4, all the account groups from OBD4 will reflect here. All the account groups from OBD4 will reflect here. Based on the account number that you are creating, you have to select the respective account group. If I try to select any other wrong account group, system will validate this account number with this account group. If you look at the account group, every account group has got from number to number. If you are selecting account group as 1110, which is fixed asset, the GL account number for this strictly within this range. Any number beyond this range cannot be allowed to assign under this account group. Okay. Now this is one point. Second point, whenever you are creating the GL account type, point number one, you are not supposed to just like that create a GL account. You have to see which account you are going to create and what is the nature of account. Point number one, you have to understand whether you are creating a P&L account or you are creating a balance sheet account. Point number one, you have to understand whether you are creating a P&L account or you are creating a balance sheet account. Now I am going to create a 1110, which is according to me this account group, fixed asset. According to me, it is fixed asset. Any fixed asset is a balance sheet account. I know that I am creating a balance sheet account. Now, for this balance sheet account, there is a predefined GL account type by SAP. If I open the drop down for the GL account type, there are 5 classifications or there are 5 categories for account type. One is your cash account. Second one is non-operating expense or income. Third one is primary cost or revenue. Fourth one is secondary cost. Fifth one is balance sheet account. Out of these 5, by looking at the name, we can easily classify. Cash account, we know it's a balance sheet account. Second one, non-operating expense or income. Name itself is telling expense or income. Any expense, any income is part of P&L account. In short, non-operating is used for P&L accounts. Third one is your primary cost or revenue. Again, the name itself is telling anything related to cost, anything related to revenue is represented as P&L account again. Next one is the secondary cost. Again, the name itself is telling it is a cost. Cost is always your expense. In short, P&L account. Your account type NPS. Your account type N, account type P, account type S. These are represented as P&L account. And for balance sheet, the leftover account types are only 2. One is cash account, the other one is balance sheet account. Now, this balance sheet account is common from ECC till now, which is your HANA 2022 version. This cash account, which is newly introduced in SAP S4HANA from version 2020 onwards. Until 1909, there is nothing called cash account. This cash account is introduced from S4HANA version 2020 onwards. This cash account is used exclusively for cash related GL accounts. Basically, we call only 2 type of accounts as cash account. One is your cash GL account. The other one is bank GL account. If you are creating cash bank related GLs, only then you have to use cash account. Again, it is not mandatory. If you want, you can create them under cash account or you can create under balance sheet account. It is up to you. Okay. So cash account is used exclusively for cash related GL account and bank related GL account. It is again not mandatory. If you wanted to use cash account functionality, you can assign. Otherwise, straight away you can map cash bank GL account also to the balance sheet account. Okay, now since this is your balance sheet account, which is not cash, not bank. So anything which is other than cash, other than bank, blindly put it under balance sheet account. I'll put under balance sheet account. So first two fields that you are giving here is GL account type and then account group. Next one, short text and then long text. Whenever you're creating this, you have to understand this is 20, this is 50. When I say 20, 50, your short text is 20 characters only. Long text is 50 characters. So even when you're trying to create, even when you're trying to upload the data, make sure you are writing only 20 characters and you're writing only 50 characters. Okay, you're writing only 20 characters and you're writing only 50 characters. Anything beyond 20, anything beyond 50 will be truncated. Anything beyond 20 will be truncated. So when I say anything beyond 20 will be truncated, from 21st character, whatever you type, system will not consider it. It will delete it automatically. That is called as your truncation. So we call it as the data will get truncated, which means it will accept only 20 characters. Beyond 20 characters, whatever you type will be truncated. So you need to remember short text length is always 20 character. Long text length is always 50 character. Accordingly, you have to write. Sometimes if the account name is different, you try to put within 20 characters a short name or a shortcut form for it. Now, let's say I am going to create. First, I will always write land and building or furniture and fixtures. One sec. Let's say I'll put something like this furniture and fixtures for, let's say, head office Mumbai, something like this I'll put. Okay, now same thing if I try to put here. Now, if you see, I copied total description, and if I try to paste it here, it is not accepting the total length of it. It is accepting until here, which means after 20 characters, even though you try to put the additional text will be ignored, which means the additional text from 21 characters onwards will be truncated. So here what I need to do, I need to create the description in shortcut. Maybe I'll say furniture HO Mumbai, something like this. I need to write a shortcut. This does not mean you will write only first 20 characters. You have to put the description. You have to put the description in shortcut way. Something like this, furniture HO Mumbai. Once I put short text to long text, this trading partner we will not be using here. After this, if I go to control data, this control data, if you see account control in company code, you will find a heading here, account control in company code, which means this is part of your company code segment. Whatever the information you assign or you update in control data, this is applicable only for this company code. So you are free to update any setting as per your company code. Account currency, all the settings you have to update as per your company code requirement. And next one is your create bank interest. Create bank interest also, again, control of document creation in company code. Everywhere you find company code, everywhere you find company code, which means this is your company code segment information. So this information you have to update for each and every GL account. Not every field is mandatory. Initially, to create the GL master data, you have to inform your client from this what fields they have to maintain, and from this what fields they have to maintain. Otherwise, they will get confused they will tell or they will ask you for each and everything which one should to be used here. Now that is not the intention. The intention is that you will explain them in such a way that they will be able to map all the 1300 GL accounts in an Excel sheet as per your requirement and then share it with you. Now it is your responsibility to make them understand how the GL master upload file or the GL master template to be filled up by your client. Before you do it, we need to make sure we are clear with what information is relevant, what information is required to create a GL account. The additional information can be added, amended later on. But to create a GL account, whatever the information which is mandatory, that you have to make a note of it, let your client understand it, let them create one or two GL accounts as a sample, let them share it with you, you validate it. If they are able to create the template in the right way, you will say that, okay, what you're creating is correct. You can proceed with updating the total file of all the 1300 GL accounts. Now, 1, 2, 3. Only these three columns we will be updating for time being because this is what we will be using. The additional ones can be updated later on. Those are not to be updated at the time of creation. Later on, we can create it. Now, there are several ways of creating a GL account. Point number one, we were talking about creation of GL account manually. When we talk about creation of GL account manually, this is what we are representing. Going to FS00, creating a GL account manually. But according to our requirement, we are going to have 1300 GL accounts. It is practically not possible for us to create 1300 GL accounts manually. Nobody will do it. So what you will do, you will approach a method called GL upload. Either you will be using LSMW or you will be using LTMC or you will be using migrate your data application.
Hello,
So
sir.
GL account, yeah,
Sir, if we have doubt, when we can ask at the same time or
just
at the end of the session?
raise your hand. Raise your hand. I'll call your name to put your question. You have raise hand option, right?
I can see this in left side.
Yeah. Put that. I'll get the notification. Once I'm done, I'll ask in between. I'll call out your
Okay, sir.
name. You can put your question. Yeah.
Hmm.
So GL account creation manually. This is straight away rolled out any implementation project, any rollout project. Okay. So we don't use it for implementation rollout. So manual creation is straight away ruled out. We don't use it. Second one, GL creation with LSMW. We use it only in ECC systems. You will be creating GL account using LSMW only in ECC system. Next one, GL creation with LTMC. And then we use it in S4HANA until 1909 version. Okay, LTMC we will be using in S4HANA system until 1909 version. Last one, GL creation with migrate your data. And we use this in S4HANA. This is from 2020 version. When I say from 2020, 2020, 2021, and then 2022 version, we will be using migrate your data application, not LTMC, because LTMC is replaced with migrate your data from 2020 version onwards. Now, first, what we will do, we will try to create a GL account manually. One GL account I will create manually. One GL account I will create using LSMW. One GL account I will create with LTMC in 1909 version. One GL account I will create in 2022 version using migrate your data application. First, we will see how the process is looking like, how GL account is getting created based on manual, LSMW, LTMC, migrate your data. Once we are familiar with this, once we get one basic understanding on the SAP screen, then we will discuss in detail about each and every method. Because to create any data, whether it is master or transaction, the tools will remain common. The way you create manually, it will not get changed. The way you create LSMW process remains the same. LTMC process remains the same. Migrate your data process remains the same. It is only the transaction, it is only the template which will get changed. Otherwise, the process is common for everything. So first we will try to see how the GL is created. Later on, we will extend the same topic repetition for cost center creation, profit center creation, vendor creation, customer creation, bank creation and all. So that you will be able to see the same point several times wherein you automatically get clarity on this. Okay. So first one, let me create one GL account manually. Whenever we are creating a GL account, always it is better you have to segregate the GL account based on balance sheet, based on the P&L. So first let me select a balance sheet account. Okay, I'll be creating one balance sheet account manually. Now I'll come out of this screen. I'll come out of this screen. Let me go to FS00 once again. I'll go to FS00. In FS00, company code is 9PBI and there are no GL accounts to be displayed. When you log in, if you are not able to get screen like this, what you need to do is you need to go to settings on top of your screen. On the settings, you will find something called hierarchy display. Click on hierarchy display. You will get a pop-up screen. On this, if you click on display accounts in navigation tree, you will get this screen. If you don't want this, it is creating a confusion to you. Do not display navigation tree. Click on continue. And it is telling the setting will reflect only when you reopen the screen. Say OK. Come out of FS00 and reopen FS00 screen. Let me open this once again. Continue. If I click on this, now I don't get any tree structure here. It's a straight away one account display in one time. So I'll go like this. I'm going this way. First thing that you need to apply or first thing that you need to input here is GL account and then the company code. Let's say we are assuming that we will be creating a GL account for balance sheet account first. I will select the account group which we have already created. From this, assuming I will be creating fixed asset, not fixed asset. Let me select. I'll be creating a cash balances. Cash account I'll be creating first. For cash account, this is the number range that we have created. We have to strictly create the GL account from the same number range which is configured as per GL account groups in OBD for transaction. I'll be selecting this GL account number. Okay. I'll pick this GL account number. Let me go to SAP and I'll pass the GL account number here. This is the account number which we are planning to create now. This is the account number. In which company code are we planning to create? Next thing, we are planning to create it in 9PBI company code. Give the GL account number, give the company code. Now, after this, you are able to see different icons here. First one is display. Second one is change. Third one is create. Next one is create with template. Next one is block GL account. And last one is mark for deletion. After this, when you press enter, automatically system will try to display the GL account as after this is the next icon. Okay, if I try to press enter, I am getting a message GL account does not exist. It is telling GL account does not exist. So there is nothing to display. Now, because our intention is not to display the GL account, our intention is to create the GL account. When your intention is to create the GL account, you have to look for the icon which is related for creation. This is the screen, this is the icon which is used for GL account creation. Let me click on this create icon. When I click on the create icon, it is giving an option called GL account type. First thing you need to understand whether you are creating a P&L account or you are creating a balance sheet account. This is the balance sheet account. I'll open the drop down. Until I explain about cash account, do not select cash account until I take the session on cash account. Blindly, if it is balance sheet account, go to balance sheet account. Okay. I'll select balance sheet account. If it is balance sheet, irrespective of any account, take it balance sheet account until we discuss about cash account. Next one, you need to select account group. Now, according to our logic, first four digits of your GL account number will be the account group. If your GL account number starting from 1210, first four digits is your account group. That was the logic that we predefined. Let me select 1210.
Yes, Babu.
If you select correct account group, system will not prompt any error message. The moment you select the wrong account group, you will start receiving error message which talks about this account group cannot be used for this account number. This is the control which is inbuilt in SAP. You cannot create a GL account in wrong account group, which is not allowed. So you have to strictly select the GL account group, which is created for the respective GL account number. This is your first set. Know the GL account which you are trying to create and pick the company code in which you want to create and identify what is the nature of account. Nature of account is nothing but whether it is P&L account or it is a balance sheet account. First, we are going with balance sheet account because there is only one point in balance sheet account. There will be no confusion. First, we need to get the logic process how we will be creating the GL account. Later on, I'll explain about each and every category where we will be creating. Once this is done, you have classified whether it is a P&L or balance sheet. Next one, in which category this falls under, according to your grouping, which account group this GL account falls under. If this is a cash account, you have a GL account group for cash, pick the cash account group. And then you have to give the short text. Now what I'll put, I'll write cash and then I'll put something called a manual to identify that this GL account is created manually. I'll copy this same description, I'll put it in the long text. Or you can also leave the long text blank. If you leave the long text blank, whatever is there in the short text will get automatically copied to the long text. So I'm not writing anything in long text. When you don't write anything in long text, short text will be copied to long text. This is your set one. Next set or the next point that you have to assume is control data. From the control data, you have to maintain the account currency. Majoritarily, all the GL accounts will be updated in company code currency, in short, local currency. In case if you have any foreign currency transactions, majoritarily you will be using cash accounts and bank accounts in foreign currency. Other accounts, we don't use it. If you are maintaining dollars, you may be using, this is a dollar account. If you are using any foreign currency bank accounts, you will be using account currency in foreign. Otherwise, most of your accounts will always reflect the company code currency, in short, the local currency. After this, I'm not updating any of this. Later on, we will understand about the additional fields. Come down. If it is related to open item, this also we will see later on. First, we wanted to understand how the GL is created. Later on, while creating the template, we will consider the different options which are used in the real environment. And then we will create one GL account for every functionality. Sort key is mandatory. For time being, for all the GL accounts, blindly put 001, which is posting date. Okay, enter. So in short, In the control data, we are updating only two records. One is account currency INR. Second one is sort key 001. Apart from this, we are not touching any field. Next one, third tab, create bank interest. Here also there are several fields. Out of these many fields, currently we will be working only with one field, which is your field status group. This field status group is controlled by field status variant, which we created at the time of baseline config. In your field status variant, which we copied, has got several field status groups. Now, if you see, these are all the field status groups. Now, this is your company code 9PBI. For this company code, field status variant, which is assigned, you will be able to see here 9BMW. Okay, this is the group which is assigned variant. From this variant, these are all the field status groups. For time being, we will be assigning G001. Later on, we will understand what is the impact of a field status group, where what kind of a group we will be using. So in the third tab, I am updating only one record. That is your field status group. In short, for creation of a GL account manually, for time being, my inputs or the fields that I am writing, this is one GL account, company code 2, account type 3, account group 4, short text 5, long text 6, control data, currency 7, sort key 8, create bank interest, field status group 9. Only 9 fields I am updating to create a GL account manually. Okay, now once you are done with your update of the relevant fields, whatever we have decided, 9 fields. Once these 9 fields are given, you can click on enter here or on keyboard. If there are any errors, it will prompt. If there are no errors, it's not giving any messages at the bottom. Proceed to click on save. If I click on save, you will get a prompt. You'll get a prompt. This is just a message which will come for all the GL accounts that you create. You are going to consider only if you find any red light. You are going to consider only if you find any red light. Any green light, you are going to ignore it. Any yellow light, you are going to ignore it. If you find any red light, that is where you are going to see why the error is coming. Otherwise, simply click on continue, press enter. Now the GL account is created. Now your GL account is created manually. Let me take this GL account and I'll go to type description. As I said, if you don't write anything in the long text, short text will get copied to long text. That is what happened here. Now let me go to Excel sheet. I'll put GL master has two segments. One is your chart of account segment. Second one is your company code segment. Now for this, table is SKA1 and for this table is SKB1. This is very important to be remembered. If you remember FS00, you don't remember FS00, that is still fine. But you must remember table for GL account for chart of account segment, table for GL account at company code segment, SKA1 for chart of account segment, SKB1 for company code segment must be remembered. No exception for this. Okay. Now what I'll do, I am able to display the GL account. I'm able to display the GL account on the front end from FS00 transaction code. If I want to look at the GL account from the backend, whenever you talk about backend, we will be talking about from the table level. From the table level, if I want to look at the GL account, This transaction code to view any table is SE16N. SE16N is the transaction code to check any table. Go to this screen. Once the screen gets opened, you have to see whether you want to view the data from chart of account segment or from the company code segment. And these tables are the tables which we will be using frequently when you're in any project. Okay, so let me open another session. Okay, this is the table screen. Here you need to input the table name. So we assume that there are two segments of every GL account. One is chart of account segment, the other one is company code segment. Whenever you create a GL account, your GL account will be updated in two tables separately. First one is chart of account segment, which is your SKA1 table. You need to write the table name in the table column, press enter. Put the table name here, click on enter on the keyboard. So let me reconnect to the server. So when I put this here, table name SKA1, you will get the table description here. This is your GL account master in bracket chart of account. This is the chart of account segment of a GL account. Here you will find different fields based on which you can generate the output. Point number one, if you wanted to look at balance sheet accounts, you can put here. But for time being, I want to look at the GL accounts that are created for my chart of account level. So our chart of account is 9 BMW. Okay, 9 BMW is our chart of. I'll put the chart of account. Let me press enter. Before I click on execute, it is always recommended you first check number of entries here. Sometimes if the records are more, system will take long time to display the output. So it's always better you click on number of entries first. If I click on number of entries, it is telling entries found is only one. It is only one because we know we have created only one GL account. Click on continue. Now you can click on execute. This is your execute button or F8 on your keyboard. Whenever we talk about execute, whenever you talk about run, you're talking about function F8 on your keyboard. Click on execute. You will get the output on the screen. This is the output. So it is saying what is your chart of account, GL account number. This is your balance sheet account, X. X means this is balance sheet account. It's kind of a tick mark. Account number, group account number is not there. Created on today, created by user. This is your GL account group. The other fields are currently blank. GL account type is X. It is talking about X. You have to remember X means balance sheet account. These codes you have to remember. It's not that you remember only balance sheet account. You should also remember what is the shortcut key or key field for balance sheet. It is X. Close this. And if you go right side, you have something called timestamp. Timestamp is nothing but this is your date and the time. on what it is created, short text, long text, as per the input that you have given, and the other one is short text, long text in the uppercase. This is the GL description that system has given. From SKB1, this information is what you are able to get. If I come back from this table, the second table to view the company code segment of a particular GL account, table is SKB1. I'll input SKB1 table. In SKB1 table, you don't find chart of account, you are able to find company code because this is GL account master at company code level. Input your company code here. Our company code is 9PBI. I'll press enter. Once I put enter, same logic, don't click on execute directly. Check number of entries first. If I click on number of entries, it is giving only one record. Yes, we created only one GL account. Click on continue. Now execute. Now here, this is displaying the company code, account number, created on, created by. The other fields are not updated, so it is not reflecting in table also. Field status group is G001. Account currency is INR. Line item is enabled. Tick mark means it is enabled. Next one, sort key is 001. And the timestamp. Nothing else is there. So this is what we have updated. And this is how you can view the data from the table level. Remember, whenever you're talking about data migration using LSMW, LTMC, or migrate your data, you are going to verify the data from the table level. Every time you don't go to FS00 to see whether the account is uploaded properly or not. It is always verified from the table level, which means whenever you're talking about GL account creation in any implementation project or in any rollout project, in short, GL creation in any project will be created based on the upload method. Any method that you're adopting, LSMW, LTMC, or migrate your data, you have to verify the uploaded data from the table level. You have to verify the uploaded data from the table level. You must know what are the tables related to a particular data that you are uploading. If it is GL, SKB1, SKA1, this is how we are able to validate. Next one. This is the first account that I have created and I have verified through the tables, which we have understood how to create manually, how to verify GL account from the table level. Next one is to create the GL account based on the different methods. First one, I will be creating the GL account based on LSMW method. Based on LSMW method. So what I'll do, I'll put this here. So here what I'm going to do, I'm going to create the next GL account. I'm going to create the next GL account. For creating any GL account for LSMW, for any GL creation with LSMW, we must have a screen recording. For creation of any GL account with LSMW, we must have a screen recording. Now, while doing a screen recording, we will be creating another GL account. Okay, to do a screen recording, you need another account to be created. So second GL account will be created at the time of LSMW recording, not LSMW processing. LSMW recording, you will be creating another GL account. So what I will be doing, I'll be creating LSMW. At the time of LSMW creation, we need to have a recording. While doing the recording, another GL account will be created. So the current GL account, whatever I have created, is this one. Okay. So this will be the GL account, which I am going to use cache LSMW recording. I am writing the descriptions just to make sure when we look at the output, we don't get confused which GL account is created on what basis. I'm going to use this cache LSMW recording. Now, next one, T code for LSMW is LSMW. Right? Sometimes people will put a simple tricky question. What is the transaction code for LSMW? You're not supposed to think anything. T code for LSMW is LSMW only. Okay, legacy system, migration, workbench. Full forms and all not relevant as of now. Remember LSMW, T code is LSMW only. Now to do the LSMW recording, let me copy the account number. So the next number will be 1. I'll be copying this account number alone. And we assumed to create LSMW, transaction code is LSMW only. I'll type LSMW here. Enter. When I type LSMW, it is asking project, sub-project, and then object. This is again important topic in your interviews. In every interview, they will be asking you about whether you worked on LSMW. Do you know how LSMW works? This is one of the common tool that you are going to use on your day-to-day activity in your SAP FICO consulting. For different reasons, for different purposes, you will be working on LSMW. Now, project, sub-project, object, you can create anything as per your requirement, but make sure you will not be creating big names for it. Always it is recommended you use short codes for it, because when you're doing the LSMW further steps, the name length is more, it will not allow you. So you have to go and edit the name. So it is always better right from the beginning. You will keep this point in your mind. Name of your LSMW project, sub-project, object is always short codes. So what I'll put 9 is representing my this one, and B is representing BMW. I'll put GL. And everywhere I'll put the same thing. I'm writing project, sub-project, object S 9BGL. 9B is representing 9 PM BMW. GL is representing GL upload. Okay, for time being, I'm writing this, but you can put any description of your choice. When I press enter, I'm getting an error message which talks about no project exists with the name. Yes, we know that currently there is no LSMW project for our GL migration, which is the reason we are creating now. When you are creating, this is what the naming convention we wanted. Once you put project, sub-project, object, click on create icon. Whenever you talk about create, in most of the screens, SAP will display this icon or new entries text. Only these two ways will be represented. Either this white small paper icon or new entries in text. Click on create entry. Now it is asking description of it. I am going to use the same thing as description. Enter. Again, I'll put the same description. This one, again, I'll put the same description. If you want, you can give any additional description, but not relevant. I am going to provide the same description. Click on continue. When I click on continue, now you are able to get the description of it. Okay. Once you are able to see the project, sub-project, object along with the description, that is where you have to click on execute icon or continue icon. Let me click on continue. When I click on continue, there are several steps that system is displaying here. Point number 1, not all the steps you are going to use it. You will be using hardly 13 or 14 steps. Now the first one The first one, you have to select this. System will always select the previous step. System will always select the previous step, which is already completed, and it will allow you to go to the next step. Currently, nothing is created. That is why you are on the first step. You cannot go to the second step before creating the previous step. Okay. Select the first one. Point number one, you can double click on this to open the screen. To come back, use this icon back or F3 on the keyboard. Go back. Option number one, to open it, double click on this particular line. Option number two, select this, click on execute. Here you have another point, double click to display or shift F7. I am going to execute. I got this screen. Another point that you need to remember is, by default, any screen that you open on LSMW will be by default in display mode. Will be by default in display mode. You have to always read the heading here. You have to always read the heading here. This is your LSMW workbench display object attribute. In display, you can do nothing. You always require data in change mode. For you to switch from display to change mode, this is the icon. For you to switch the data from display to change mode, this is the icon. Click on this icon, or you can remember the shortcut Control F1. You can start pressing those shortcut keys to save the time. I'm clicking on this. Now you are able to see the data in change mode. You have to see the heading here. Change. You don't need to edit anything here. Come down. Straight away, there are four methods that are to be used in LSMW. Point number one, standard batch input, direct method. Point number two, batch input recording. Point number three, BAPI. Point number four, IDOC. As a FICO consultant or as a functional consultant, what we will be working on is only batch input recording. As a functional consultant, we will always work on batch input recording. Even if somebody is asking you, straight away you tell you worked on LSMW with batch input recording. Select this radio button, batch input recording. Here you need a recording. If I open the drop down, nothing will come here. If I open the drop down, nothing will come here. The drop down will display the record only when you create a recording. It will be displayed only when you create a recording. For creation of a recording, you have to click on this icon, recording overview. For creation of a recording, you have to click on recording overview. Let me click on recording overview. If I click on this recording overview, I get another screen in which I need to click on again create icon. Create means straightforward, same icon, create recording. Click on create recording. Here it is giving a recording name. So I'll put Z. I'll put 9P GL. I'll put 9P GL. Let me try to click on continue. Now, when I try to click on continue, I am getting an error message. It is telling this name is not acceptable and must be changed. Now, whenever you get this kind of error messages, try to read the help option. Try to read the help option, and it is not giving any further information. And it is telling this name cannot be accepted. So straightforward, come to this, change this name. Just try to add a Z at the beginning of it. Click on continue. What I did, I have given a name, but I have given a Z at the beginning. This is what we normally follow even in real environment. I'll click on continue. Now, when I give Z at the beginning or which is other than my project identification, system has accepted. Next one, it is asking us to create a recording. And for the recording, it is telling which T code you want to use. This is the transaction code. Normally, whenever you create GL account manually, you are going to use FS00. For GL account manual creation, we will use FS00. But when it comes to GL account creation using LSMW, you will not use FS00, you will use FS01. For LSMW, we will not use FS00, we will be using FS01. I'll put FS01, I'll click on continue here. When I click on continue, system is giving this recording screen. Always remember, whenever you're on LSMW recording, you are not supposed to make any experiment. You're not supposed to make any experiment because each and every activity that you do on this screen will get recorded. Each and everything that you're doing, each and every place you're going and clicking will get recorded. So you have to be very conscious, very careful before you do a recording, especially on LSMW or any recording in SAP. So before you do any recording, it's always recommended you create a transaction manually to make sure what is your requirement. According to your requirement, what fields are required, only those things you are going to touch during the recording. No unwanted field touch. So account number, what I wanted was this. Okay, this was the account number I wanted. I'll come to recording screen. Now, another point, when you're doing LSMW recording, avoid shortcut keys. Avoid shortcut keys. Go and click the respective field using your cursor or using your mouse. Don't put shortcuts and all. Always use your cursor like this. Go and click manually here. No shortcuts. Now I'll put the GL account number here. Whatever the field you are updating or whatever the field you are clicking, only those fields will get recorded. Others will not get recorded. This is the account number. Next one is company code. Even though the value is already there, you have to update that once again to get included in the recording. I'll put company code 9PBI. The below information is currently not relevant. I have given GL account number manually. I have given company code manually. Then to create, I need to click on this icon, which is my enter. So I'm not pressing enter on the keyboard. Instead, I am going and clicking on this enter icon. I'll click on this enter manually. Then I am getting another screen like this. Here I have to give short text. I will give GL LSMW recording because this GL is created for LSMW recording, or in short, I'll put cache LSMW recording. Same text I will copy, I will put it in long text. Okay, next one I need to select if it is balance sheet account or if it is PNL account. Since we are creating balance sheet account, let me click on this balance sheet account tick mark. Okay, I'll click on this balance sheet account tick mark. After that, you have PNL statement account type. This is not a PNL account. If I open the drop down, I am getting this. This is to be selected only if you are selecting or only if you are creating a PNL account. Currently, what we are creating is a balance sheet. For balance sheet, you need not tick this. You need to select the balance sheet account. Next one, functional area, not relevant. Account group. This is to be selected. Let me open the drop down here. If I select this drop down, I have something called the account group. So this cash account is 1210. I'll pick 1210 here. I picked 1210 here. After this, let me go to next press. I'll click on enter so that it will go to the next screen. Let me click on enter. When I click on enter, this is giving the next screen in which I am selecting, let's say, account currency will be INR. Even though it is already there, I need to update once again so that it will be captured in the recording. After this, what I have given sort key. I'll come down, Sort key, I will select 001. Sort key, I selected 001. After this, I have to select one more field called field status group, which is here. This we have selected G001. This we selected G001. Okay. Now, if you look at all these things, you need to verify whatever the fields that we were creating manually, whether all the fields we have selected here or not. One field, if you look at, when we created GL account manually, we have selected something called GL account type X, which is your balance sheet. GL account type, which is X, balance sheet is selected here. And here also, while creating, somewhere we had an option called balance sheet account. We have ticked it. We had an option called balance sheet account, which we ticked. Now we have selected all the fields. Now let me click on save here, because this is what we have done. If I click on save, you are getting some messages at the bottom. Okay, this is a green message or the yellow message. This is your warning message. Yellow is a warning message, red is an error message. Any warning message with yellow color, you can ignore the warning by pressing enter on the keyboard. On the LSMW recording or any screen recording, we understood that you are not supposed to press shortcut keys. Your enter on SAP is represented by this icon. Okay, this is the icon which will represent enter on SAP. Click this manually. If you get another time, click on enter once again. Okay, now you're getting a message at the bottom which talks about account 121 all zeros has been created. The moment it is created, first thing that you do is save this. Immediately you need to save the recording. Now the recording is saved. Once the recording is saved, what you need to do is go to the table SKB1. Earlier when we displayed, you got only one record. Now when I click on number of entries, it is supposed to be 2. Now the records are 2. Okay, let me click on execute. These are the 2 records. I'll go back. Now there are different points which we need to consider, which I'll explain you later on. If you see the first account, line item display is enabled. For the second one, line item display is not enabled. I'll tell you why. Go back and I'll go to chart of account segment SKA1. For this, I'll import the chart of account. I'll click on execute. I should get 2 records here also. Make sure balance sheet account is enabled. GL account type X is automatically taken by the system. Come back. This is your cache. This is your manual creation. This is your cache LSMW recording. Next one. So account is created and it has updated the record properly. Next, what we will be doing here is, once you're done with this recording, you need to save it immediately. Once the data is saved, next thing is to click on default all. You need to click on default all. When you click on default all, you are going to get the table name, field name of the respective value. I'll click on default all. The moment I click on default all, I'm able to see the field name and the field description, the value that I have given. So here you need to copy the data into Excel sheet. Here you need to copy the data into Excel sheet, for which come to this, and here you need to copy the data which is updated by you. This is what you have updated. To copy the data on this screen, Control Y. When I do a Control Y, I get a big plus mark like this. When I do a Control Y, I get a plus mark. This is applicable only for one-time selection. If you are unable to select, again you need to press Ctrl Y and then select. What I'll do, I will select this data first, whatever I have given. Okay, I'll do a Ctrl C. I'll go to Excel sheet and I'll paste the data here. Okay, this is what I have pasted here. Second one, after this, I need the field name of it. Again, go back to SAP. Now I'll select the field names, copy this, go to Excel sheet again. Next to this, I'll paste the field names. Okay. Again, I'll go to SAP. Now the field description, Control Y, select the field description, GL account, and then company code. Copy this, same thing, come to Excel sheet, paste next to this. In short, in the 3 rows, in the 3 columns, I am updating data that I created, field name for it, field description of it. All the records we have to copy paste one by one from your LSMW screen. Here also, same thing. I'll copy the data. So once you're familiar with copying, you can copy all in one go. You can convert from text to columns. Copy Excel sheet, paste it. Similarly, again go back to SAP, copy this and put this here. Make sure you copy at the proper places. You are not supposed to change the row references. Against the same column, you need to paste the data. After this one, copy same thing, this one, and same thing, the text. I'll copy this. This is what I have given here. Next one, what I'm going to do, I'm going to extract this from this Excel sheet to new Excel sheet. In short, I'll add another sheet here. I'll put LSMW here. And I'm pasting this data. I'll reduce the font size. Okay. Okay. I have reduced the font size and I'll put everything left aligned. And I'll reduce the column width. Once you copy paste and you take into an Excel sheet like this, the data which is copied from LSMW screen, what you need to do is, first thing you need to copy the field name. First thing you need to copy the field name. I'll do a Control C here. I'll do a Control C here. Now, whenever you are doing this, point number 1, you're not supposed to have any spaces additionally on the data. So first thing, you have to remove additional spaces from data by applying trim formula. You need to apply it. There is a formula called the trim. Using the trim formula, you need to remove the additional spaces. Sometimes what will happen, there may be a space at the beginning or at the end, which will lead to inconsistency. Now, what I'll do, I'll simply put that. I am going to put a formula, observe carefully. I am going to type is equal to trim. Type is equal to trim, give a tab. select which data you want to trim. I want to trim this record so that if there are any spaces at the beginning or at the end will be trimmed, which means the additional spaces at the beginning or at the end will be removed by using this formula. This is very important when you're working on LSMW. Copy this, paste for all the records so that the same formula is automatically applied. And copy this. To copy, we all know that Control C. You have to use the Control C, and then you need to paste this data as value without formula. For pasting the data without formula, you need to click on. If you click on Control V, formula also will get pasted, but you wanted to paste the data without formula. For which, point number one, you can click on Control Alt V. Okay, you can click on Control Alt V. When you click on Control Alt V, you get an option called Paste Special. On the Paste Special, you click on Values. Only the value will get copied without any formula. I'll click on this. Now, if you see, there are no formulas on it. Now, I'll copy the same data. I'll put it here so that the same data I brought it here without any formula. So I'll put this in bold again. Okay. If you find the data has got any additional spaces, it's a safe side that you're not going to face any error when you're uploading the data. These are all the prerequisite checkpoints that you have to verify as an experienced consultant. Next, what I'll do, I'll take these columns. Now, for you to prepare the uploaded template. Now, so far, whatever we did, we created LSMW, we extracted the fields that are relevant for GL creation. Now, what we need to do, we need to create a template. Now, I'll write LSMW template for GL account creation. This is what I'm going to do it now. This is my LSMW template for GL account creation, for which what I need the field names first. I'll copy the field name. I'll come down. I don't want field names in the column format. I want field names in the row format. Now this is currently in the vertical format. I need this in the horizontal format, for which again copy it, paste special. For paste special, Control Alt V. When you click on paste special, Control Alt V, you need to click on transpose option here. You need to click on transpose. When you click on transpose, the vertical data will be copied as horizontal. I'll click on OK. Now, if you see, whatever data I copied from the vertical format is now pasted in horizontal format. Now, by looking at this, you may be able to understand this SAKNR, BUKRS, text 20, text 50. But when you give this template to the user, he will not understand. User will not understand what it is. For user to understand the file, you must put the field label or the field description also, which is this. I'll copy this, Control C. Below this, same thing, paste special, Control Alt V. Click on transpose this option. Say continue. I got this. Now what I am going to do, I am going to select both the records, Alt O C A to adjust the column width. Now in this, you want your user to update the data. But for your user to update the data, he requires one of the sample record. Otherwise, he will not understand how to fill up the information. You are going to provide a sample record which is already updated. Based on that, your user will update the remaining records, for which you have already created one record, which is this. This is the record which is already created by us. Let me copy this. Control C, same thing. I'll come down, paste the special, Control Alt V, transpose. I'll do this. Okay. Now let me do Alt OCA. This is my template now. Out of this template, I am going to tell These two are the headings. I'll put a different color for this. I'll put a different color for this because these are the headings, nothing to do with this. This is just the heading, what information to be filled up. Now this is the sample record. This is the sample record. For the sample record, I am going to put another color. Let's say I'll put blue color, which is the sample record. Based on this, I want the user or I want the client to fill up this data and send it back to me. Based on that, I want client or the user to fill this up and then send it back to me. First thing what I'm going to do, I am going to prepare this file. This is your master data template using LSMW method. Okay, if you want to create the GL account master, assuming you are working on ECC project. In ECC, there is no concept of LTMC, there is no concept of migrate your data. Only option available is LSMW. You have to create like this, for which you will be talking about master data template. Any master data upload is based on the master data template. We will be sharing the templates to the client. Client will update the data in the template and share it back to us. Now these templates will be created by a FICO consultant if it is related to FICO module. So if you are working, you will be creating this and you will be circulating this with the client and scheduling a meeting with the client to explain how to fill this information. Now assuming that I am scheduling a meeting with you since you are all my clients. Now I am going to tell this information I want. I am going to tell you put GL account here, company code here, short text. I'll tell this has to be 20 character only. Long text, this has to be 50 character only. This is your, if it is balance sheet account, I will tell X. Now account group, I'm going to tell here, and account currency, field status. Sorry, this is your sort key. It is 3-digit in SAP. If you look at SAP control data, your field status is 3-digit. 2 are leading zeros. Now, if you put 1 digit, system may accept, system may not accept. So what you need to do, you need to put a formula here. Either tell your client to add a hyphen like this before enter and then 00. This is one option. Hyphen and then put 00. Or what you do, you put 1 only here and then go to this format from general. Go to this format from general, open the drop down, select number here. Select the format, number, you will get a pop-up screen. Where is it? Where is the custom here? Yeah. So this is more number format. This is option number 1 or option number 2. You place cursor on here. Place cursor on here on this particular field. Click on F1. So not F1. Control F1. Sorry, not control F1, only control 1. Select the respective field. Click on control 1 on the keyboard. You will get this. Remove the decimals. Remove the decimal and click on custom here. Click on custom here and you have a single digit appearing here. Go to type and you put 3 digits. You put 3 digits. Now you will find 1 has become 001. 1 has become 001. Say OK for this. Say OK for this. Now if I try to put 2, it is becoming only 2. So what I need to do, I need to put the total file with the same format. Control 1. Go to number. Go to custom. And in the type, you put 3 zeros. It has become 002. Now if I put 5, it will become 005 automatically. If I put 10, this will become 010 automatically. In short, system will make sure whatever number you type will be 3 digits. If you put anything which is less than 3 digits, it is going to automatically include leading zeros. Now, these are all the basic fundamental formulas you must be aware of as a SAP FICO consultant. You cannot say, I do not know Excel if you are working as a FICO consultant. Right from the beginning, slowly you have to understand the small basic Excel formulas also. Okay. Now, here what I am going to do, I will create two more GL accounts using LSMW. So what I'll do, I am going to copy the data as it is from here and I'll put this here. I'll leave one space and I'll paste the data two times. I know that the next GL account number will be 2. I'll put 2 and then I'll put 3. Company code will remain constant. Here I'll put LSMW1 and here I'll put LSMW2. That is recording. This is LSMW1, LSMW2. Same GL descriptions here also. And then balance sheet account same, account group same, currency same. Everything else will remain constant as it is. Next, what I am going to do, if I am the user, I am going to fill it up like this. I will submit it to you as a user. When you receive the data as a consultant, what you have to do, you have to further process it. Now your upload file is there and the data is also filled up. So what I'm going to do on my upload file, I will remove these colors. I'll put only the heading. I'll put only one heading. I'll put this here. Okay. Now I'll put a different, I'll not put any color for this. This is my actual data, which I have received from my client, which is to be uploaded into SAP. Once this is done, go top and let's come back to the LSMW screen. Now we have prepared the upload format. We have also filled up the upload file. Next one, once this is saved, go back, click on save, go back one more level. Now here, if you click on recording drop down, it will pick up that recording, whatever we created. It is now picking up Z9PGL, click on save. This is your step number 1. If this step is not done properly, the entire LSMW, whatever you do will be wrong. This is the key step that you have to create recording, make an upload file in a proper manner. If something is wrong here, everything will be wrong in the subsequent steps. Come back. Save this step, come back. When you come back, it will give you the previous step, last action, when this was done, at what time, by what user. Then the next step, click on execute. By default, everything will be displayed in the display mode. Switch to change mode by clicking on this icon. You need to create a source structure. Click on create icon. I am going to create Z9B GL, something like this. Anything, make sure that you add a Z here. I'll click on continue. I have created this. Just click on save. Make sure the name begins from Z here. Go back. Next one, define source field. Let me click on execute. Display mode, switch to change mode. Select this and then you need to click on this icon called table maintenance. If I click on table maintenance, we need to put the field names. Field names we already copied here. So what we need to do for this one is you need to put some additional columns according to SAP. Field name we already have. You have text, sorry, you have type and then you have length. You have type and then you have length. So what we will do here is everything by default we will be working as text. Sorry. Character, not text. Everything will be represented as character. Character is C. C is common for everything. I'll put C here. And this one I'll put a different color. Okay, this is C and this is another one. And length you need to put. Now first one is GL account. You know that GL number length is 10. Company code, you know it is 4 digits. Short text, you know it is 20. Long text is 50 digits. This is single digit only. It's a tick mark. I'll put 1 digit. Account group, it is 4 digit. It's always better you look at that and accordingly you will come to a conclusion what it is. This is going to help you in further places. That is why I'm not showing you from where I can directly copy paste. You should always look at this, come to a conclusion. This is 4 digits, this is 10 digit, has to trigger your mind automatically. So next one, account currency. Currency is 3 digit in SAP. Next one is sort key. Sort key is also 3 digits. Field status group is 4 digits. Okay, these are the fields. This also I'll put in the same this one. So what I'll do, I'll copy the fields and I'll put this fields in the field name. Paste. Copied there, pasted here. Next one, these two, character and field length. Go to SAP, put this here and press enter. The field description or the field label will come automatically. Click on save on this option, go back one level, click on save. Okay, come back. This is also done. Next one is define structure relation. Open this setting, change mode. Nothing to be done in this. It is just that the structure is defined automatically. Click on save. Next step, go back. Field mapping and conversion rule. Execute this. You will be viewing it on the display mode. Switch to change mode, this icon. And straight away go to extras on the menu bar. Click on auto field mapping. Okay, system will do table and field mapping automatically. You will get the prompts like this. Keep pressing enter until you are done. Enter, enter, enter. You don't have to do anything. You just need to press enter until you are done with this. This is automatically field mapping will be done, which table will be used and which field will be updated. Once this is done, click on save. Come back. And this one we don't use it. Define fixed values and all we don't use even in the real time. I'm ignoring here as well. Next one, specify file. Now here is where your actual LSMW starts. Till here it's a one-time activity. From specify files onwards it's a repeated activity. You can use this LSMW for multiple company codes, for multiple GL accounts n number of times, provided these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps are properly defined. Now the file. In the previous class, we assumed LSMW will take flat file. LSMW will take flat file. Flat file is nothing but a notepad. Flat file is nothing but notepad. So what I'll do, I'll go to a notepad. I'll open notepad. I'll open a notepad. I got like this. Now this is your file and this is your data, which is received by your client. Copy the data along with the heading or without heading, it is up to you. But you need to make sure whether your file is copied along with heading or without heading. I am copying with heading. Select only the data, not the complete records like this. Only the data records you have to select. Control C, copy, go to notepad, maximize your notepad, simply put Control V, paste here. Copy there, paste here. If you notice, the cursor is blinking on the next row. You notice cursor is blinking on the next row. Before you do anything, look at the last value which is typed. Last value which is typed here is 1. When you press one backspace, you need to press only a single backspace. Cursor will go and blink on the last record at the last text G001. By default, system is prompting the cursor on the next line. You are taking it to the last line. Once this is done, one backspace, click on save, Control S. I am going to save it on the desktop. I'm going to save it on the desktop. I'm going to put name as LSMW GL. I'm going to put a name as LSMW GL. I'll click on save. Now my upload file is saved. Your client is going to provide you data in Excel sheet because your client will not fill up the notepad. You are going to share Excel format to your client. You are going to share Excel format to your client. Once Excel format is given to the client, he will update the data, submit back to you. Once you receive your information, what you are going to do is you will validate the data, whether everything is filled up properly or not. Once you are convinced everything is fine, simply copy the data, go to Notepad, paste it, one backspace, save it on any of the path, documents, download, desktop, your choice. Once it is saved, come back to LSMW screen. Come back to LSMW screen, go to specify file. Open this. You get different screens, different fields like this. Point number one, you're on display mode. You have to remember, switch to change mode. And here you have to open legacy data on the PC front end strictly because you have the data on this system. So on the PC front end, double click on this. When you double click on this, you will get a pop-up screen asking you to upload the file or select the file. Click on this drop-down option. It will open the file locations. Select the location. So we have created the file on the desktop. Let me pick my desktop. On the desktop, this is the file, LSMWGL. Select the respective file, click on open. So it has selected the file location and give any description. I'll put GL. There is no rule, it has to be the same file name, it can be any name. Next one, file content, you're not going to change anything, this is table only. Delimiter. When you talk about a delimiter, how data is separated on the notepad. How the data is separated on notepad, our data is separated based on the tabulator. When I say tabulator, from one field to another field, we are going based on the tab here. So that is why this is tabulator. So you will be selecting tabulator here. When I say tabulator, system is going to switch from one record to the other record, or it is going to segregate data based on the tabulator, which means 5 spaces. Okay. And after this, you have file structure. In your file, if you copied heading also, or you have not copied head, you have to be very careful with this. If my heading is also copied, heading is not the data. My data starts from here. Okay. If you have copied heading, you need to select field name at the start of the file. If I tick this, system is going to ignore the first line. If I tick this, system is going to ignore the first line. If I don't tick this, system will consider the first line also as the data. We know first line is not the data, first line is only the heading. So what I will do, I will put field name at the start of the file. Tick this, that's it, no other changes, click on continue. Okay, and I'll click on save this. Data is saved, I will go back. Once I am on the back, now the next step is assignment of a file. Just execute this. Assignment, you will go to change mode, you'll click on save. No additional changes because you will find the file location here. Okay, click on save. Go back. Next one, read data. When you do this, system will read the data from your system. If you wanted to restrict, you can put numbers. Let's say I have 1000 records. I don't want to read all the 1000 records. This is only for the testing purpose. I want to read only first 2 records. I can put 1 to 2. If you don't put anything, it will read all the records. I'm not giving anything. I'll click on read data. We have got 2 records. Give permission for this. Always you have to click on allow. If you click on deny, you are telling system not to open the file or not to allow the permission. Always allow the permission. And then you will find the data here. Structure is this. Number of records read are 2. Number of records written are also 2. Not written means errors. There are no errors, 0 errors. So everything is system is able to read. 2 records. Go back one more level. Now whatever the data that system has read, you wanted to display how system is reading the data. Click on display read data, execute. If it is not connecting, just click on this log on again. It will get reconnected to the server. In case if the connection is lost, it will get reconnected. So yeah, now click on enter here. If these things are working slower for the first time, from the second time it will work faster because it will read all your configurations whether everything is properly updated or not. So it will take little time for the first time execution. From second time onwards, it will work faster. You get any doubt whether system is working or not, you just need to click on the logon pad. Now I think it has come. What you need to do here is you are unable to understand this properly. What you can do, you can click on any record hyperlink or you can select any one row. This is your first row. Click on field content. This is one option, or you can directly click on any hyperlink. It will display the data. Let me, yeah. Okay, so you have to validate GL account. System is able to read GL account into GL account column. Company code is this. Description is coming properly. Balance sheet account. Everything is coming into right position. Sometimes what will happen if your file is not prepared properly, data is not updated correctly, you will not see certain data. You will see certain data getting copied to wrong field or not copied. Some data will get truncated. So you need to make sure you validate everything thoroughly and then go back. Next one is to display. Next one is to convert data. I'll click on convert data. Click on execute. No errors. Go back one more level. Display converted data. Click on this. It's just execution screen only. Same thing. Display this also. Field content. Make sure fields are properly assigned in the respective screen. Field status group, everything is properly allotted. I'll go back and I'll click on create a batch input session. Let me click on this batch input session. Keep batch input session folder. I'll click on execute. Now it will create a background session, batch input session. Once this is done, go to the run batch input session, execute. And this is the session that you are able to find. 9BGL created by username Ajay. Select this, click on process. When you click on process, you will get another pop-up screen. On this pop-up screen, you have three options. Point number one, you can process foreground Point number 2, display errors only. Point number 3, background. In general, we will always proceed with display errors only. Okay. Now you can select extended log, expert mode, so that if there are any errors, the system will create a log for it. I'm selecting display errors only. If there is any error, it will give a prompt pop up on the front end. You can fix the error manually and proceed. If there are no errors, it will process and create the GL account automatically in the backend. I am selecting display errors only. Click on process. When I do it, I am getting a message processing of a batch input session completed. Let me click on session overview. If I click on session overview, it is telling there are two transactions. Tick mark. Success transaction is 2. Errors. There are no errors. Now after this, if I go to the table, before LSMW upload, there are 2 GL account creation. After LSMW, it has to be 4 because 2 more we have created with LSMW. Let me just refresh the table. Now 2 has become 4 if you see. 2 has become 4. Now if I go right side, this is your GL LSMW1, LSMW2. These 2 GL accounts are uploaded with LSMW like this. In a file, in this file, you can update 1300 GL accounts. Just copy paste the data into Notepad, upload from specify files. If you upload it, you will be able to create 1300 GL accounts in less than 30 minutes, 30 minutes. Within half an hour, it will upload all the 1300 GL accounts automatically. Otherwise, you have to sit and create 1300 GL accounts manually, which nobody will do it. This is one way. Okay. So this is what is your GL account creation with LSMW. Now the process steps that I've created for LSMW will remain constant, will remain exactly the same for any process, whether it is GL, customer, vendor, or any purpose you are using LSMW. Same steps, same sequence will be used in the same way without any changes. The only change is your transaction code. Otherwise, the logic way that you are going to follow is the same. Now, if you have any questions, you can ask. Vinod, any question?
Yes, sir. Uh, Sir, while creating general ledger, there I seen one option called business partner. What is that? Why we have to use that one? When we have to use that one?
That is in case of your cross company code group reporting purpose. We don't use that option. Even in real time, we don't use it. Okay, whatever the fields, whatever the functionalities we will be using in the real project, only those fields we will be using. The others which are not used, we are not going to touch here also. Okay, so this we have understood how to create LSMW for GL account. So our focus here is only to understand how you are going to create a GL account with LSMW. Two things you are going to understand here. Point number 1, how LSMW works in SAP. Point number 2, how you are going to upload or how you are going to migrate GL accounts from legacy system into SAP. Okay. Kurva.
Sir, the indicator you taken X, so what about other indicators, sir? So we have to, from recording X again, we have to do?
Yes. Now I have recorded considering only balance sheet account. Correct?
Yeah, but one more doubt. So there are so many fields are there in while creation of manually. So if I want to every field, so we have to select
Yeah, you have to select.
from
So
LS,
yeah,
LSMW.
yeah. So you have to select. So that one I'll explain in the next session. First, what we are doing is I have created a simple LSMW. Once you are able to create this LSMW, I am going to explain with another example how you will be creating single LSMW for P&L account, for balance sheet account.
Okay. There will be in LSMW lot of steps are there. So how we can remember easy way
Once you create one LSMW, I am going to explain all those shortcuts, how you will remember in case if somebody is asking you what you need to tell. Once we create this, then I'm going to explain. This is the first session we had. So in which I want you to create the same steps as per the recording that you are going to watch. So that in the next sessions, when I talk about LSMW, I'm going to list out all the shortcuts, all the key points that we have to remember. At that time, based on your practice, you are going to understand them.
okay. Okay, sir.
Okay? Yeah. Ajay,
Sir, can we change the field status group in between means after any GL transaction posting? If we
you can change
want to
it.
change, you can change it. Eh?
You,
Okay.
you can change it.
Any effects, sir, after the change of field status group? Not any effect, right? Any
No,
serious effect?
no
No, no.
effect. No effect.
Okay. Okay. Okay, sir.
Okay? Yeah.
Got it.
All right. Yeah. Next, Tuns.
Yes, thank you, Ajay. I think you might have answered my question. What's the best practice for this? Do we like create balance sheet accounts first, then go into P&L accounts, or we can just do everything at once?
If you are working on LSMW, we have to upload P&L separately, balance sheet separately. If you are working on LSMW, you have to create P&L balance sheet separately. No other go.
Okay.
Yeah.
For practice, would you like
Abhi,
us to?
no, for practice, you just create the way I created this. Only balance sheet account you created because in S4HANA, we don't create a GL account LSMW. This we are
Oh,
practicing to understand LSMW screen functionality.
okay, okay. I forgot we were
So in the
using
next
that.
session, in the next session, I will create two more GL accounts using LTMC in 1909. And in the another session, I'll create same another two more GL accounts using migrate your data in 2022 version, so that you will see how data migration happens with LSMW, LTMC, migrate your data. Now you will be replacing the transaction, GL, cost center, profit center, customer, vendor, and all. But the steps, logic, process that we are following will remain constant. The only change is data change, but the process change will not be there. Okay, and then we will list out for what, based on your project, based on your project version, which one you have used for data migration, we will list out. If your data is GL, which one you would have used. So we will list out in clear manner so that you don't get confused and we don't give incorrect answers to anybody. Clear?
Hello. Hello.
Yeah. Abhi,
Sir, good evening, sir. Sir, why we use in recording FS01 instead of FS00, sir?
because FS00 will not give you all the fields, and certain errors you will receive if you follow FS00. We always prefer FS01 for LSMW recording in case of GL master.
Okay. Sir, if you create a cost center, must asset, anything, that time, sir?
That time the respective transaction code, same transaction. This change is only for GL. For others, the same T code you will be using.
Sir, one more doubt. Go to LSMW screen, sir, on SAP.
Once. Okay.
Sir, instead of copying the fields and uh, description something, so we can directly copy somewhere, right, sir?
That I'm
Exhibit
not
C. Is
showing
it?
because I don't want you to follow the shortcuts at the beginning.
Okay, 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 fine, sir.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, sir. My actual doubt is FS01Y. For remaining all the masters, we can use same T code, right, sir?
Yes, FS00 also you can create, but FS00 is not user friendly and it will lead to some errors for some kind of accounts. That is why we don't prefer FS00 for GL master. We prefer always FS01.
And sir, one more doubt.
FS00
Trim
also
is
can be recorded. Yeah,
okay, sir.
go ahead.
We need to trim is mandatory, sir. We need to formula that use trim mandatory, sir.
Not mandatory. Not mandatory. Sometimes what will happen when you copy paste from SAP to Excel, you may be
Okay,
selecting additional spaces, correct?
okay, yes, sir.
Like when I say, let's say I'm copying like this. Now I can copy the next letter also sometimes. Like after T, I may copy additional space also. And when you paste
Okay,
it, data may look like this. Let's say if you see this, for example, if I see this, there might be a space like this. And here also there may be a space after this.
okay,
If I try to select this, there are additional spaces. When system is loading the data into the table, it will go with space also. So that will create a data inconsistency.
okay. For that, we may get some errors, right, sir?
Some errors you will receive. That is why to make sure the data is consistent, you are going to trim additional spaces. You cannot verify all the records, right? Now we are testing only with 2 records.
Correct, sir.
But there may be a lot of records when you're actually uploading a lot of fields.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before I
Just
didn't
to make
use trim,
sure,
but we updated so many types. That's what I have small doubts.
yeah. Mhm. Okay.
Thank you, sir. That's it.
Yeah. Amol,
Mm. Hello, sir. Could you please explain project, sub-project, and object fields with an example?
that is only the identification. You can create anything there. So it has got no specific meaning. It's only, let's say, today I created LSMW. Okay. If you see,
Mm.
now this LSMW GL can be used. Now, this is created for which company code?
Any.
BMW company code.
Yes, yes.
Correct? This is created for BMW company code. Same thing, you can use it for your company code also. You just need to change the data in the template and then upload. It will create GL account in your company code also. Okay, but for you to do it, it is not created by you. Correct?
Right.
Now I have created it. Now you are asking me, or let's say you are new to this project and there is a requirement to upload the GL master. Now you don't have to create another LSMW because there is a project which is already created, but you do not know what is that project. If you see here, you will find something called all project, my object. If you click on all
Mm.
project object, it is going to display all the LSMWs which are created by different users. Okay, but if
Okay.
I have to tell you, if you have to use my template, my LSMW, you need what is the project name, correct?
Yes.
Only for that purpose you are going to use it. But later on, let's say I'll delete all this. Okay, now I want to use it. If I click on F4, system will display all the projects like this. But which one is GL that I need to use, I'm not sure. So what I'll use, I am going to identify based on the project code. If I put project code and then enter, it will ask the sub project. Based on the project, if I click on F4, it will get picked up automatically. If I click on F4, this will get picked up automatically. These are additional descriptions because I cannot write complete code here, correct? I can't write the full description here because this is character limitation. And this LSMW is used only by the consultant, not by the end user. So whatever you write here is your choice.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank
Yeah. Vinod.
So why we should not use shortcut while recording LSMW? What will happen in system?
Because system will not understand when you use the shortcuts. System will understand based on your this one. Now, if I go and click on this, system will capture that this is a click. If I use a shortcut key, system will not. On the recording, what system will do, whatever you are doing here, system is going to go and click there based on the cursor clicks. If I want to go here, I have to go here, click on this. But if I directly use a shortcut, it may not work in your recording. So that is why it is not recommended to use the shortcuts. It is strictly recommended go and click whatever you want with your mouse and cursor.
So only LSMW or LTMs that time only we have
In
to use
in
all
any
three
recording,
option.
wherever you are doing screen recording, it has to be strictly the manual click, not no shortcuts. When you are processing manually, you can use the shortcuts. But when you are creating a recording, screen recording especially, system is going to replicate what you're doing. So system cannot put the shortcut key, right? When a recording is executed, system will
Okay,
not
okay.
know what shortcut you pressed on your keyboard. It will understand only when you go to this go to and then click on this, system will go to this and get the drop down, click on this. But if you put Control F1, you are putting it manually. How system will know that what you pressed on keyboard? Correct? System cannot see what you are clicking, right? What shortcuts you are using.
Yes, yes, got it.
Yeah.
Sir, hello.
Tuns, please raise your hand. Whoever is asking questions, I'll call out your names in the sequence.
Actually, I don't have this hand raising option here. So,
Okay, put your question in the chat box. I'll go in sequence so that those who have raised their hands will not get
okay.
uh, skipped. Abhi,
Sir,
So
we
I
don't
think
use.
you simply,
Abhi, go ahead.
Sir, why we don't? Sir, we will not use FSP0, FS something we don't use in sir real time.
No, we don't use it.
Okay. Sir, one more doubt, sir. In LSMW, we have multiple levels, sir. IDOC, BAPI, and we don't use that remaining also. Only we use batch input recording only.
Yeah, as a functional consultant, we use only batch input recording.
Okay.
Okay, so if you want to take the technical help, then you will be using BAPI and all. But normally we don't use it. But nowadays we don't use it because now we all use S4HANA. In S4HANA, you get all this predefined in LTMC or migrate your data.
Okay. Okay, sir. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, Tuns, go ahead.
yeah, thank you for that, sir. Actually, I think you answered one of my questions. I was going to ask about aside from the standard batch inputs, if like if we work for a company that uses iDocs, if that's something that we're going to look at, and also if we are going to upload, say for well, my question is, are we going to go through this again with other topics, like say for instance, cost centers, for instance, like how we're going to upload
Yeah, yeah.
cost centers? When we get to that topic,
Yes,
are we going to?
I will be
Sorry.
repeating this several times.
Okay.
Okay, so it's It's not that LSMW is completed. It's just that we are getting to know different points from the beginning onwards so that you
Okay.
will have fair understanding on what exactly you do in a project.
Okay. So when we get to that topic, we're going to go through this process again for other objects.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. The other two questions I have, so I can connect with you later on because they're from the past topic, so I can ask now. It's up to you. I don't want to take time from other people. I said there are 4 people in the chat. Can I just connect
Yeah,
you
yeah.
later on?
I think
Or I
that
can
I'll
ask you
take
here?
maybe in the next session, I'll take your questions. Okay.
Okay, sounds good.
Or you can put them in the group also. Either I'll respond or somebody will respond.
Of course. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Anjanelu, go ahead.
Hello, sir. Why we need to record
Yeah.
this session, sir? Actually, it will be stored somewhere, or what is the purpose of recording?
Now, what?
Rec-
Yeah. The reason why we need to record is you want to repeat the same activity for several times, correct? For every GL account, the same steps will have to be repeated.
Okay,
Yes. So you create a GL account. Let's say you're updating 9 fields. For all the GL accounts, you have to update the same 9 fields a number of
yes,
times.
sir. Yes, sir.
Now you are opting this LSMW because you don't want to do this repetition work manually, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you want system to create the GL account automatically. But how system will know which field to be updated? So there has to be a reference for system.
Yes, sir.
So for that reference, you are creating a recording. In that recording, whatever you are updating, and based on the file, whatever you're uploading, the same activities the system is going to consider. So in the recording, whatever is there, same steps the system is going to repeat a number of times. If you have 1,000 records, the same recording is executed 1,000 times in the backend by the system.
Okay, basing on the input, so I mean, if you give 1,000 records, the system will automatically do the settings in backends, right?
Correct. It will execute the same record. It will use the same recording. Based on the recording, it will update the data.
Okay. Suppose if you miss to record one field, but we manually given, in Excel sheet we have given that field, but we will not click while recording the. In that case, that
It will
field will
not.
be vomited away. I say. Okay.
In
In
that
that
case, it
case,
will
we
not
will get error.
process. You will get an
Okay.
error. Point number one, you have to modify the recording. Point number two, you have to redo the recording.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
All right. Ramesh B.
Actually, while recording, we need to with mouse or something. We need to click on the particular cell and somewhere where we need to. But based on the GL nature, for example, somewhere we will select accounting pay with local currency or field status. We will give say, different. And but in that case, we need to create different like LSMW files. We need to create double like 2 3 files, or how, so how it will be, sir?
No, no, no. Same file will be created based on the GL account. You will be changing the data. It's not like only G001. That field is captured means you can update any record in that. Any value can be added in that record. You just need
One
to,
time. Uh,
yeah, one time you need to do a recording with all the possible fields based on your scenario.
is because
So
different
currently what
GL.
we did, yeah, currently what we did, we have considered only the cash account. Based on the cash account, I have created a recording. In the upcoming sessions, when we talk further about LSMW, I am going to explain how do you do a recording, single recording to accommodate all the scenarios.
Okay, sir. So different when field changes means that time we will change it there and accounting balance, and when cash flows we will click on upcoming, then how recordings will be going to show, right?
Correct. So if you have 1,000 GL accounts, you are going to consider how many fields are required to create 1,000 GL accounts. Let's say now we have added only 9 fields. Assuming you have 15 fields, you are going to create a single recording with 15 fields. Whatever the fields are applicable for a particular GL account, only those you will update. If it is not applicable, you will keep it blank for that particular account.
So we mean we need to maintain the count of that line fields, correct?
Yeah. No.
Thank you.
You got it right. Let's say, for example, this field is not applicable for a particular GL account. For that GL record, you will leave it blank.
Okay, sir.
Okay. For a particular account, if it is applicable, you will update it. If it is not relevant, you will leave it blank. That's it.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Kurva?
Sir, so if I want to record balance sheet item and P&L account item, so is it possible to create two reference items?
You have to create two separate, because in one account you cannot you cannot select PNL balance sheet. It is a radio button, right? Either PNL or balance sheet.
Okay.
So you have to
Okay.
do a separate upload for PNL accounts, and you have to do a separate upload for balance sheet account.
Okay. And here, for example, you took 9 fields, so it's later on I want to add one more field in the existing record. Is it possible? That is
Yeah, possible.
okay. So that we are going to so right.
Yeah, we will do it. Yes.
And and you are saying something here is header plus recording also there, right? You are selecting some uploading time, so you are selected something. So what is that mean,
Yeah,
sir? So
you go
head.
here. When you are on the specify file, okay, this you need to take. File structure, field name at the start of a file. If you have heading, otherwise you need to untick it.
So that means if you are maintain heading in the Excel file, right?
Correct. If you select this, first line will be ignored.
Okay. If even I want to header also, we need to untick, right?
If you are not putting the header, your file contains only the actual data. You don't need to tick that. If you tick, first line will be ignored. If you don't tick it, first line is also uploaded.
Okay.
Confused?
In in TX
If
format,
I, yeah,
in TXT format level, I am not copied with header. So I only copied with record levels.
okay. You should not
Okay.
tick this in that case.
Okay. Fine.
Okay. Yeah,
Thank you, sir.
yeah. Okay, all right then. So I'll share this recording. Go through this, try to create the same recording as per what we have done today. Okay, just try to replicate whatever we have done, and any errors that you're facing, make sure you take screenshots, put it on the group. Either I'll respond or somebody who has already done it will respond to you. But make sure you practice, and without practice, this little tricky, because we are going in a different way where we are not learning LSMW straightforward. We are using LSMW to understand the data migration process. Okay, so you are learning different points by this process. Ensure you are practicing to have thorough understanding on the data migration process and different uploading tools. Okay, so Tomorrow we'll be connecting at 8 o'clock for the weekend batch for the baseline configuration. Okay, so see you tomorrow at 8 p.m. Good night.
Okay. Good night, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Hello, Ajay. You want me to connect with you on phone about my request?